Hey, good morning. Hi, sisters. How we doing? Last week we talked about maintaining our sanity and finding balance throughout all of this, and got a really great response. The video is really fun, so if you haven't seen that yet, check it out. This week we're going to talk about boosting your immune system. So if you're new and you haven't seen us yet, I'm Dr. Aimee Warren, and I'm meeting with my sisters, Nikki, Steph, Casie. We have another sister, Becca, and our mom, and my niece, Coral, too. Sometimes they'll hopefully join in, but we all just wanted to get together and sort of share our um, discussions that we talk with amongst each other about what we're doing through all of this, and we're just wanting to keep connected with each other and then share it with you, because everybody kind of has their own unique perspective on things. I'm a physician. Nikki is a fitness guru, and Steph and Casie are also super knowledgeable about nutrition and exercise and plant-based eating. So I always go to them and reach out to them whenever I get a new supplement or want to know what they're doing, with as far as books that they're reading or vitamins they're taking or whatever it is. And so they're sort of my people that I go to, and I just really love to share it with everybody else because I think they're awesome. So I wanted to share them with everybody. And today we're going to be talking about how to bolster your immune system. And everybody's going to come with their own area of expertise and kind of share that with you all this morning. All right. So Nina, if you want to start.
Hi, good morning. So as Aim said, I'm Nikki Warren. I have a fitness franchise that has 40 locations across the United States. And so I'm honored and love my job of researching ways to build my immune system, to help my family build their immune system, and then share it with my clients and with all the people that I love. And one thing that I am quite proud of is that I haven't been sick in probably 20 years. I don't know if my husband's ever seen me sick. And I really believe it's from just the basic fundamentals and the way of living, keeping it very simple. So today I really want to talk about exercise and how exercise boosts your immune system. So you've seen people that wash their hands like crazy, and they're very careful with germs, and they're not dirty, but they're always getting sick. And you're like, gosh, why are you always getting sick? And your immune system can't just be built in a day. Your immune system is built time over time over time of just good, healthy habits of first taking care of your human. If you have a really high stressed life and you're not happy, that is going to be something that's going to really be something that's going to hurt your immune system. So where exercise comes in building your immune system is, one, it makes you happy. It decreases your stress level, and then your cortisol goes down. So we're not just talking about like, oh yeah, you go for a run and I feel good, so maybe now I'm choosing better foods, which happens, right? But we're actually talking about like what happens on the inside of you when you're exercising, that you are getting rid of these stress hormones. You're adding in the good, positive stress, like positive hormones with like serotonin. And then you are also curing your microbiome. And they really don't know how exercise cures your like gut bacteria, but it does. And your immune system is really built in your gut. 90% of your serotonin is here in your gut. So when you're exercising, hopefully you're exercising with friends. And I know right now that that's not as much the case, but Zoom calls this, then all the things that are happening in your body are positive. You're building your immune system, and throughout the day, you're able to fight things that come your direction. So all of these like different flus, colds, we're exposed to things all the time, even when we're in our own house. But when you're strong from the inside out, your muscles are working, your body is working in tune, then you're able to fight all the things that come your way. So I'm gonna hand the mic over to Steph. But one supplement that I did want to share with you is astragalus. So it's really quite inexpensive, and astragalus has been known through studies to increase your immune system. It's a root, and it also helps with longevity of life. It helps with skin and your body. So this is one thing that I wanted to share with you guys. So it's astragalus. You can get it at, on Amazon, anywhere. And this has been something that's been new for me since all of this coronavirus that I've been adding in, and I really, really like it. So, my takeaways are exercise every single day. Now, exercise doesn't have to be 1 hour class. It can just be getting out every morning, taking a walk, but get your heart rate up, get sweaty, do a sweat test. If I'm not sweaty, then you need your heart rate to come up. So whatever that looks like, maybe it's when you go for a walk, you stop and do some squats or some push-ups on a rock, or maybe you join our Zoom classes, but do something that you're exerting yourself. So your system is kind of taxed. And then what happens is everything else starts coming into place. Okay. So I'm going to turn the mic over to Steph. Pat.
Hi, everybody. I'm Steph, and I am a nurse, and I'm also head of education for Casie. So I spend a lot of my free time researching this exact topic, really because our immune system is like a signal flag for everything that's going on in our body. And there's a direct correlation with how often you get sick and how long you live. So let it be like a signal for you, if you are somebody who gets sick a lot, that there's a lot more going on in your body than you can see. So our immune system kind of tells us how we're doing as far as our health goes, and that most of our health comes from most of our immune system comes from our gut microbes. And I think that's super interesting and exciting. And like Nikki was talking about, all the exercise influences that. Casie will be talking about how plant-based eating influences that. Something that I've been researching over the last couple of years, and something we've always talked about with Kaya, is intermittent fasting. And it's gotten named that recently, but we've done that for over 10 years. And the research behind that, I think, is really exciting. There's a lot going on with research on autoimmune disease and intermittent fasting. So what it is really, they call it more time-restricted eating. And that is giving your body time to heal and repair. So we have the ability, we take for granted when we get a cut and it just heals, and we're like, wow, it's a miracle. And we don't think about our body's ability to heal from things we're exposed to, for our mind to heal from things we're in space. So mentally, what we're going through right now with all of the input, with the fear, with the our lives being turned upside down, the grief that we're going through from the loss of the life that we had, letting all that heal on its own requires space. So last week, we're talking about with mental health, that space comes from meditation. Well, our body is also able to heal from things we're exposed to. And, it's like a cliche thing of everything causes cancer. Well, there are a lot of things in our modern society that do cause damage in our bodies, but we have the ability to repair and heal from those things and start brand new if we give ourselves time. And they say it's a minimum of 12 to 13 hours, ideally more like 14 hours of no food in our system. And then our body goes in and stops digesting food because there's no more food to digest, and then looks for cells that are not working well and starts to break those down. So that's how we naturally can protect our body from all of the things, not just a virus, but from cancer or these other things that we could be exposed to that are causing cellular damage, is giving our body the time to say, okay, I'm done digesting food. So at least 3 hours before bed, you stop eating anything caloric, and you give yourself the time to, by the time you're sleeping, your body to go, okay, I need to go in, find anything that's not working well, break that down and get rid of it. And so that's giving yourself not only will your body fat change dramatically, that just is like a side note bonus, but your body will repair from exercise that you are inducing during the day, from things that you're exposed to during the day, from all these things that are causing our body to go through stress. We wake up all fresh and renewed when we've given ourselves that time. And the same thing between meals. So we've been talking a lot about with women who are struggling right now with being home all day long and eating all day long. Well, this is really important too, because if we're eating all day long and not letting our gut microbes repair and rebuild in between meals, then we are doing stressing our body all day long. It's not, there's no regeneration of our gut microbes in between meals. So when you go in and you have breakfast, maybe at 8 a.m., just set a timer. Like, that's something I have to do just because we're home all day long and working from home, and it's so easy to create a habit out of going back in the kitchen. But just set a timer, 3 or 4 hours. I'm not going back in the kitchen again. I can have water and that's it. I'm not hungry. If you're going back to the kitchen, what are you hungry for? It's not food. So let yourself completely digest, be totally ready for another meal, and then start again. And do that 3 times during the day, and then give yourself that big break in the evening to repair and rejuvenate and actually sleep and do the things that we're supposed to do while we're sleeping and not digest food. And like I say a lot too, is like, try this for yourself. They say it takes about 3 weeks for you to get the benefits of intermittent fasting, so be patient. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes your body time to adjust to this, but try it, see how you feel. Notice how much more rested you feel. I notice huge now. We just happen to like go out to eat late, which happens sometimes, but I'll wake up in the morning and I definitely notice that I did not heal and repair overnight. I'm really tired. Sometimes my joints, it's another really way to be able to tell how you're doing, is if like bilaterally, like all of the joints on all sides of your body, or your whole body is achy. It's like that sign that you've got inflammation, and that inflammation can be healed and repaired overnight if we give ourselves that time. So break between meals and break at night of 12 to 14 hours. And we feel like we do that, but notice now, if you have milk in your coffee, right, when you wake up in the morning, that broke that. So if you can stop, instead maybe have just black coffee or just tea, and then wait and just give yourself that time, then and like Nikki said, I actually can't even in my memory remember the last time I was sick. And I know that's because of all these pieces that everybody's talking about. It's probably been, I don't, maybe 15, 20 years. I don't remember either. So you have this potential inside of yourself to be a healing machine if you just take these little things and start working them into your lives. And now I'm gonna let Casie talk about plant-based eating, which is another key for staying healthy and happy.
Hi, I'm Casie. I am sister number 4. Sorry, I have the barking dog and the kid at home, like everybody does, I'm sure now. But we are, I'm a student, I'm a master's student at Harvard right now. I'm studying biology, and this is an exciting topic for me because I study immunology and cancer and plant-based eating. So, plant-based eating sometimes sounds intimidating, but I'll break it down a little bit and just talk to you about how important it is to maintain a healthy immune system with plant-based eating. So really, basically, your immune system, it is cells. They're cells. So there's cells in your body that fight off viruses or bacteria or anything that invades your immune system, or any kind of foreign object that comes into your body that your body doesn't recognize, and it attacks those cells. So, or attacks that thing, whatever it is. So your cells it's important to maintain a healthy cellular longevity for all of your cells, for your skin cells, for your hair cells. And so your immune cells are basically, they react to whatever you put in your body, the same as every cell that your heart cells and your lung cells. And so it's important to maintain a healthy cellular environment. And how we do that is by eating healthy, like we have talked about a little bit, but also exercise and mental health and letting your body clear itself. And also, one of the best things that we can do for our body is maintain a healthy plant-based diet. So that lowers inflammation. So our bodies are chronically inflamed, and the inflammation comes from cooking meat actually causes a lot of inflammation, and dairy causes a lot of inflammation because our bodies aren't really made to digest dairy after we're weaning from breastfeeding. So as we add these toxins into our body works to regulate these toxins, and in the process it's sort of a chronic basal level of inflammation that your body is constantly trying to fight off these components that are not natural to our bodies. So we want to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, obviously, and that helps to reduce inflammation. And then also it helps with energy. So if your body's constantly inflamed, then it helps keep your energy. It keeps your energy low. So when you go to a plant-based diet, it takes 2 or 3 weeks, like Stephanie was saying, to where you start feeling a lot more energy and your body can fight off those foreign invaders. And then another thing that Stephanie had already mentioned was the microbiome is huge with plant-based diet. You know, my immunology professor is a vegan as well, and she said that you can tell from fecal samples they do in the lab of what they eat, and you can tell salad eaters from meat eaters that salad eaters have this array of microbiome that's helps keep down inflammation, and that they have just a more active and more healthy microbiome than somebody who's a heavy meat eater. So so microbiome is very important to help keep your body, to help keep cellular longevity. And so I'm kind of going on a rant, but just a few little things, like there's some really good books out there. If you look on Pinterest, there's some great plant-based recipes, and remember to try and keep it a healthy plant-based diet. There's also, like French fries are plant-based. So think more of lots of salads, put spinach in every single thing you eat, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Throw it in your smoothie, throw it in your tofu scram, throw it in your pasta at night, throw it in your rice and beans. Every single thing you eat, put a giant handful of spinach in there. And for kids, I like to chop it up really small so they don't notice it as much. And or you can cut up broccoli really small so it's almost like broccoli dust, and so that's a great tool. And then get your family just used to eating fruit every single night before you go to bed. That's your dessert, is cut up a big pile of fruit. And then as a plant-based eater, it's important to give your body that resting time, but also important to recognize that you'll probably be hungrier. So hunger is a great thing. It's a great feeling. Your body's digesting, your body is working. So just try and snack with healthy snacks, carrots, and we do lots of dips with hummus and all that kind of stuff. So fruit is always a great alternative. I always have a big pile of fruit and a big pile of nuts on the counter all day. So if the kids want a snack, or just to keep in mind that choose healthy alternatives before you go for something junky. But there's some great books. This was The Cheese Trap. This is a really good book by Dr. Barnard. He's, I believe he's at Oxford. He's a really intelligent researcher that researches a lot about plant-based diet. But for me, I study all immunology, and I study nutritional epidemiology, and study cancer biology, and you don't have to do all that. All you have to do is just look online, few little Google searches of how important a plant-based diet is for your immune system, for your heart health, for your family's health. And if you need some ideas, try there's some great plant-based recipes and stuff online, and there's some great cookbooks as well. So yeah, let us know if you have any ideas or recommendations or suggestions. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Case. So yeah, I think that all the things that my sisters were talking about, they're just super important. And I think that those foundational things, the exercise, nutrition, the intermittent fasting, and sleep is a big one too. So those sort of pillars of health, I talk about that a lot, as far as if you don't have a solid foundation, meaning those 4 pillars of exercise,
healthy nutrition and good sleep and stress management, if all those things are sort of off kilter or not very balanced, you can pile on all the other supplements and all those things that you want to, but if you don't have that solid foundation, you're not going to be as healthy as you can be with getting all those things really solid and in place. And I think, no matter what in our life, those sort of kind of ebb and flow, where depending on where we're at, sometimes like we're really great at getting exercise every day, sometimes not so much, but as long as you kind of keep those things in mind and really try to focus on touching on those foundational things on a daily basis, I think you'll be better off, and your immune system will be, more apt to fight off an infection if you get it, and your family will be healthier too. So what I wanted to talk about and I wanted to share is just some of the supplements that I take, and I'm admittedly not very great at taking them every day. So I always just say, take them as much as you can remember. If I'm really actually really good about giving them to my kids, so I like remember them every single day, but I don't really do that for myself. So I put mine right next to theirs, so I will remember to take my vitamins too. Because if I'm sick, it doesn't do them any good either, right? So I try to put my vitamins right next to theirs and make it easy for me just to kind of pull mine out while I'm pulling theirs out. So if I'm feeling like I'm under the weather, so I'm going to start off with, if you're already kind of not feeling very good, or if you're, you really want to just boost your immune system, you feel like, especially in this situation that we're in, I think everybody's kind of feeling that, but this is one of the ones that I kind of take a lot. It's called Wellness Formula. And it's not necessarily, you don't have to do this brand, but it has a lot of good supplements in there, including vitamin C, zinc, and I'll kind of go through some of those as well. But it's got some herbs in there too, elderberry, things like that, that I think are great for boosting your immune system. I try to kind of keep it simple, so I don't do a lot of supplements, honestly. So I try to eat a lot of good plant-based foods like Casie was talking about, and try to lower my inflammatory, foods that I take in, like sugary foods and things like that, so that my kind of low level of inflammation is hopefully low. And then I'll just add in kind of basic supplements. So my kind of go-to when I'm not feeling well is the Wellness Formula, and I also do these little emergencies. Some people aren't fans of these because they do have a little bit of sugar in them, but I think they're good for kids, because kids kind of like my kids like to drink them because they kind of taste good. So I'll like put a little half in each one of their cup of water and they'll drink it. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't, but I try. So this has vitamin C and zinc in it. Some of them you can get D in it too. So these are kind of a nice little easy go-to if you're feeling getting under the weather or just as a preventive. This is another one I do for my kids. It's the elderberry, and the sambucus. I'm not sure if I say that right, but it's an elderberry syrup, and you can get it in gummies or pills. But the kids kind of like is a real stretch there. They don't really like it, but I force them to take it. So they will do like 2 teaspoons of this when I can chase them down and get them to drink it. But I like this for immune system. I think that's a good one. This is another elderberry from Wellness, so it's just a different brand. So elderberry just in general I think is good for immune. And then sort of my basics, like my everyday, or as much as I can remember to take my vitamins, is vitamin D, and a good multivitamin. I think women especially need an extra dose of D, just because we're at higher risk of osteoporosis as we age, or thinning of the bones. And vitamin D helps absorb calcium into your bones. But a lot of people just are deficient in vitamin D. I mean, we all, think that we get enough sunshine, especially living in California, but we all put sunscreen on and wear hats and seek the shade. And so I think, I would say up to like 80% of the patients that I check are either low normal or deficient in vitamin D. So I'm just a big proponent of taking that, and I usually recommend as like a baseline, like 2,000 to 5,000 IUs or international units a day. But really when you're trying to bolster your immune system, kind of doubling up on that. You don't want to do that forever because vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin, meaning you can kind of overdose on it. But you obviously want to talk to your provider, your doctor, before you do any of these things. But for me, if I feel like I'm coming down with something, or if a patient's asking me what they should do to kind of bolster their immune system, I usually will recommend bumping up your vitamin D, because they've done lots of research on D, and they've actually shown that it really can help immune function, even metabolic function. So I think vitamin D is just a great one to kind of have as like a standard that you always take. This one my husband just bought. I'm not a brand, I'm not like, suggesting any specific brand, but this one was kind of a nice one. It had D and zinc in it. So you always just want to read the label and just make sure you're not overdoing it, because this has D in it, this has D in it. If you're taking a multivitamin, that might have D in it too. So you just want to make sure you're reading the labels. But this one has 7.5 milligrams of zinc and 1,000 IUs of D, and it's suggesting to take 2 capsules. So that would be 2,000 IUs of D and about 15 milligrams of zinc, which I think that's great for zinc. But the D, that's 2,000, so I wouldn't want to take a lot more of that, if you're going to have D in all of your vitamins. So so I think just the baseline for immune function boosting for supplements is D, vitamin C, zinc. I've actually done a little bit of research on coronavirus and zinc, because we had a patient who came home in their hospital that he was discharged from recommended that he start taking zinc. So I was kind of curious about that. And they're doing a lot of research right now as far as obviously trying to find treatments and ways to help patients who get COVID-19 and helping them, helping them get better, but also preventing COVID-19 from getting especially our frontline healthcare workers. And so they're doing lots of research on different medications for COVID, but also supplements. And zinc is sort of one of those front runners that are in there that they're recommending healthcare workers and frontline people start taking. So I think the research hasn't really borne out yet. We don't really know exactly the benefit, but I do know that zinc does help shorten the course of colds and flu. So you can, it's just not going to hurt you to kind of bump that up a little bit or just start taking it. But you just want to watch the interactions. Like if you're on different medications, you obviously want to ask your doctor, your provider, if you can take these things. But I think for the most part, they're safe, and you can, look online, or as far as men and women, like the dosages are a little different. So, but around 10 to 15 milligrams of zinc. And then D again is the 5,000 IUs kind of baseline. You can bump it up to 10 if you're not feeling well. And then vitamin C and sort of a multivitamin, I think, is a good foundation. What are you guys taking? Nikki, I know you shared one already.
I have to
Okay,
share
so what do you take?
my little pill case.
Yeah.
I love my pill case that you bought me.
I know.
That's so you.
Yes, it's the best. I know. It reminds me every day. I put it on top of the coffee maker, so then I know to take it right before I drink my coffee in the morning. I forgot Friday, but it's Thursday. But I take a multivitamin. I take D. I take a B supplement as a
Yeah.
Aimee, I'll have you talk about that too. But I also take turmeric, and I've been taking what is it, Aimee? It's not magnesium.
DIM?
Oh, I've been taking DIM too. Yeah, that's a good one. Estrogen. Yeah.
You're kind of having hot flashes issues, so I told her to take DIM.
And that
We should do a whole talk on that.
Yeah, let's do a whole talk on
hormones.
Hormones. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Casie, you're just coming up with all the binder spice.
I know.
Every time. For those of you who don't know Casie, we call her binder spice because she's like the most organized human ever. That you just came up with that pill box was like amazing.
CVS is like 80 cents.
And I'm like, it's like at the bottom of my purse. I'm like, oh, I think that's a D pill. And I'll like put it in my mouth. And then Nick, what do you take?
I'm like you, I rotate through different, so sometimes I'll take, like, if I'm not eating all the way awesome, I'll take like probiotics and prebiotics to help my microbiome digest my food. I take, and I think that we should probably do a whole episode, because I love like ginseng. I put ginseng, I kind of do like tonics. So I create different like liquid tonics where I put like ginseng, I do probiotics, lemon, I do a lot of cayenne, cinnamon, different things like that. So as far as like supplements and herbs, I do a lot of, or like in my family, we do a lot of like Corilla, spirulina, because those are like really great for like iron, and then just kind of the basics, what you guys do. But I also kind of take them for a little bit, and then when I run out, just don't buy it for a little bit, and then come back and buy it again. Kind of just rotate in between the things that I think are important. I do think it's hard to get vitamin D. I think it's hard to get vitamin B. So those are a couple things. And then omegas, I think that the omegas are great too, like DHA and things like that. So
yeah,
especially for your littles.
Yeah. How about you, Steph?
I make a smoothie every day, and I put moringa in it. And I did a lot of research on the best like green algae type of supplement to take, because I had one of my Kaya girls was going through some immune issues, and it's got the least amount of toxins in it and the most nutrients for like the most nutrient density. So I do that every day. And then during this time and any time that I am like making poor choices, I have this what's called Myco Shield, and I got that from Dr. Wheel. Listening to, he did a whole special on COVID and just building up your immune system, and it's just a mushroom spray. And it's like, so I keep my like natural lavender hand spray in the front pocket of my purse and the mushroom spray, because he said anytime you're exposed to something, it like prevents things from being able to like live in your throat. And so anytime I go to the store, or if I have to go to the airport or whatever it's been like over the last several months, I just have that. And anytime I walk out of a really crowded place, I just, and it's like super strong, pepperminty, cinnamon, feels like it's really effective. So, and it's been my like security blanket through all of this. And when I run out, I get like, but it's called Myco Shield, and it's like you just spray it 3 times in your throat. And again, I only take supplements when I feel like I need them, so that my body doesn't get used to that. And I use mostly whole foods to make sure that I get everything that I need, plus those smoothies.
Yeah, I think there's so much that we could say about supplements, and for different reasons why we take or give our kids supplements for different reasons. But for immune system in general, we kind of wanted to stick to that today. So yeah, it was fun, you guys, for doing this again today.
Yeah, I love it.
All right.
I love seeing you
Bye,
guys.
everybody.
I love you guys. Bye.
Next time. Take
Get out
care.
there and exercise. Bye.